If you're dating after 40 and you keep attracting Mr. Unavailable on repeat, and what you really want is lasting love with Mr. Right, you're in the right place. In this episode, we'll dive into talking about self-sabotage in dating, so you can turn that around and welcome Mr. Right with open arms. Let's get started. Today, we're talking about unconscious self-sabotage in dating. No one intentionally sets out to sabotage themselves. You want lasting love with Mr. Right, with the right partner. You want to feel at home with the love of your life. You're listening to this podcast because you want to find Mr. Right. You want to find love. But it seems like you get the opposite, someone who runs from love and what I call an UG, an unavailable guy. Where we want to do the work is the gap between what you want, or maybe what you think you want, and what you're actually getting. That is something we need to look at. If you continuously and consistently are saying, I want love, but Eleanor, I want to find love. I really am ready for love. I'm ready for this lasting love that I'm dreaming of. And yet you continuously only have experience with unavailable guys who are ghosting you, chasing after love, all of these kind of experiences, which we're going to dive into what a self-sabotage looks like in dating. But you're getting this over and over again, then it's something you need to look at. It's consistently getting what you don't want or getting involved with unavailable guys and saying, but I don't want that. I want someone who's committed to me. I don't want to chase after love. There's a gap. There's a mismatch there that we need to look at, and the things that you can do to help with this pattern. I'm not saying that, you're responsible for every single thing in life and that there are things that aren't beyond your control, because there are, of course, there's circumstances, things happen. Dating is a complicated thing, but as I'm pointing out, this is talking about consistently getting the same thing over and over again. Like you're dating the same guy over and over again in a different body. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. And that's where you can create new experiences in dating, is where you find that gap between what you're wanting and what you're saying you want and then what you're getting. I'm going to talk about a client of mine to give you an example. She was continuously chasing after someone who was clearly running away. She would talk to me every week and tell me about how this guy was hot and cold, and she really, really liked him, and she was like, but he's so amazing, and I think we would have such a good relationship, and I feel such a connection to him. He's like my best friend, and I've known him for a long time, and I know something's there. I just feel it. And she was just kind of, in a way, I'm not saying this in a bad way, but she was almost obsessed with him. And if you've heard me talk about any of my past experiences and the things that I was doing, I was 100% in that camp of just being obsessed with guys and being like, well, this guy is the love of my life. It's meant to be. And meanwhile, they're running from me, and I was constantly chasing them. She made herself available to him and played along when he said that he wanted to be friends. He was consistently telling her, I really value our friendship and I really connect with you as friends. And he was saying all this, but then he would flirt. He would flirt with her all the time, and she would analyze everything he said. Oh, he raised his eyebrow to the right when I said, what do you think of my new dress? And he would raise his eyebrow, and she was analyzing what he was saying and how he was saying it and how he leaned in when he was saying certain things, or he grabbed her hand, and she was 100% sure that that was proof that he had feelings for her. But the consistent experience she was having was confusion. She was always confused. She didn't know how he felt. He would say one thing and do another thing. She was constantly in this thing where she was twisting herself into knots, trying to figure out, does he have feelings for me or not? How many times have we been in this situation, ladies? I have been in numerous times where it's like you're in the friend zone, or they're flirting with you, just mercilessly flirting with you. And you're like, there's no way on this earth that he's not interested in me. He's 100% interested. I just have to help him along a little bit and make him feel comfortable and show that I like him so that he doesn't get rejected, and just basically taking care of all his feelings. Meanwhile, they're like constantly saying that you're their friend. My client was in this situation. Long story short, months went by and I was trying to help her to see how unhealthy it was to be in this kind of pattern, knowing full well that I used to do that all the time. And I understood why she was doing it. But she was saying one thing like, I want this amazing relationship with someone and I want it to be with this guy. But he was always saying that he was her friend. We got to the point where I said, okay, you need to tell him how you feel because you need to know either way what's going on and get past this confusion. If you do say you want this relationship with him, you need to move it forward in some way by being vulnerable and opening up to him. She finally got up the courage, which was amazing, and I've fully supported her through it, to tell him how she felt. Well, let's take a guess at what he did. Unfortunately, he just went immediately back into the stance of, I'm so flattered, that's so amazing, but I just think of you as a friend. Even though that's extremely heartbreaking and is so disappointing on so many levels, it just shows a pattern of, for months, being told one thing that I'm not interested. And yes, of course, the person was being very confusing and he was playing games, but she was putting herself in a position where she wanted to be in a relationship, but she was taking up all her time being with a guy who wasn't available. Now, that's an example of a painful pattern of self-sabotage because it's taking you in the opposite direction of what you want. That's the easiest way to think of self-sabotage is you're going in the opposite direction of what your heart truly wants. And it's not conscious. You have to make it conscious. That's what we're going to talk about today. How do you get past that? First, let's look at some other examples of what it looks like to self-sabotage in dating. You say to yourself, I want to find Mr. Right. I'm ready for a relationship. I want this beautiful, long-lasting relationship that feels like home. But you're not dating. You're not going on apps. You're not going out. You're not meeting people, and you're not talking to anyone. You're not telling your friends that you're looking for someone. Basically, you have no channel to meet somebody. You think, oh, I'm open. I'm open to the universe bringing someone to me. I'm open to organically meeting someone, but you're literally not. You're completely closed off because you're staying at home. You're spending time with your dog. You're not talking about it at work. You're not telling anyone that you're single and that you're looking for someone. And you're not putting it out to the universe, even though you're saying you're organically ready to meet someone and you're open to when the timing is right, but you're not actually open. That's a really good example of self-sabotage because you're saying you're open, but you're completely closed off to any form of meeting someone. Another very common thing that I see is dating guys who don't live in the same city as you or even the same country as you. And you can hear all of the, I'll say, excuses of, but you never know, and I could move over there, or maybe he'll come here, or if it's meant to be, it'll all work out and we'll start living in the same city together eventually. And it's like you're starting off already moving in the wrong direction because you're with someone who's not available physically. They're not in your city. You're going to be living your relationship through FaceTime and through the social media apps or phone or whatever it is. And you're cutting yourself off again from what you truly want, which is to be with someone in the same city, in the same area as you, being able to see them all the time. That's what a relationship is. Now, don't come at me because I know there's been situations or circumstances where someone will say, well, I have to go to school and finish this thing, or I have a project that I have to do that's in another country or city. Those things do happen. But I'm saying to start off on that foot, to start off with someone who is unavailable to you is extremely difficult. And why would you want to do that anyway? What is the thinking there? That's another form of self-sabotage. It's like thinking there's no one, or I don't deserve someone who's living in the same city and area as me. I don't deserve someone who is that easy to see them. Think about why you would put yourself in that position. And then giving guys who say they don't want anything serious the time of day. But he's so cute. Maybe he'll change his mind. He's just going through this thing right now. He's going to come around. He'll want to be in a relationship. I know he will. And then I'll be there waiting for him. That's definitely a common common thing that a lot of women do. Spending time with someone who's hot and cold, like my clients, giving months of your life, maybe even years, where you're like, I know that this is going to work out and he's eventually going to come around and he just needs some more time. And look how much he cares for me. Look how much he shows me that he likes me more than a friend or he loves me. And yet you have no clear indication that that's happening because they're toying with you and playing games. Another way on the opposite end of that is finding something wrong with absolutely everyone, even before meeting them. This could be something like Seinfeld, where a lot of those episodes were like, she smells like soup and all these things. It's like finding absolutely anything to say, I don't want to date this person. If you've taken any of my courses or heard me talk before, you know that I have a set of dating strategies of needing to know what your standards are and what you're looking for. And all that foundational stuff, you do need to be familiar with that and need to know what you're looking for and obviously have standards. But I'm talking about someone who's on the other end of the scale where it's like, I don't like the way he crosses his legs, or it's that level of dissatisfaction or criticism. And it's just a continuous pattern where no matter what, even if this person seems amazing, my client is like, no, I don't like him because he uses the word whatever all the time and I can't take that. I don't think I could be with someone who uses that word all the time or, whatever it is, pronounces something in that way. So that's another form of sabotage. Or it's like, I don't feel a spark. And then saying that over and over again. Sparks can come at a different time, and it's actually better not to have a spark because that's more like having a overreaction to someone where your nervous system is actually triggered. And that's what a lot of women who have been in toxic relationships, that's the way they would describe a spark. And it's actually a reason to run in the other direction. Or someone who says, I didn't like him because he seems too eager. He really seems to like me. This is a nuanced conversation because I'm not talking about love bombing where that's excessive, it's over the top, and it doesn't feel good. I'm talking about someone who's just very open with their feelings. Or another thing would be, I like him because he's mysterious or impressive, and meanwhile, he doesn't give you the time of day. So that's another thing. It's like, but I really like him and he's got this mysterious way about him. Another way to say that would be, he's not available and he's shut down and he's shut off, and you see that as a challenge or something that's mysterious. Another sign, dating guys who are way out of your age range, either younger or older. If you're looking for a lasting relationship, you do not want someone who is 20, 30 years younger than you or older than you. I know obviously there are relationships that has worked out, and there's always someone who steps in and says, but so-and-so have an amazing relationship and it worked out for them. But these are the exceptions. The actual rule of it is it's very difficult to date someone who is that out of your age range and to start off that way, say on a dating app, and meeting someone who's 25 years younger than you or the other way, that's going to make it very hard to have a foundational, lasting relationship. There's always going to be someone who's going to argue with that. But I would say if you are starting off like that, you are moving in a direction that's away from what you want, which is someone who's compatible, harmonious with you, where you're going to have an easier time having a long-term relationship. Now I'm going to talk about what self-sabotage actually means and what it's really about. It is really protecting yourself. Self-sabotage is a mechanism to stop you from getting what you want. And why would you do that? Because what you want is deemed unsafe by some part of you. Which part? Could be your inner child. It could be your inner critic, which is often an internalized parental voice, your wounded heart, the part of you that's been brokenhearted in a relationship before, and saying, no, this is not safe anymore, and we're going to block any and every indication that you're going to get your heart broken. Say, no, let's shut it down. We're going to do the sabotage. And it's all unconscious because nobody ever sets out, as I said earlier, to intentionally sabotage themselves. If you want love, you want love. That's it. End of story. But there's a part of you that is afraid of that doesn't want to give you that because it thinks that it's going to be life or death, unsafe, or something that's not going to be something you can handle. Here's some questions that you can think through. What if I got my heart broken? What if I go out with this guy and I like him? That's usually more of the fear than the other way around. What if he doesn't like me? It's more usually about what if he likes me and what if I like him? Oh my God. And shutting down your heart is not living. Your heart is much stronger when it can expand and love and shine out into the world. Your heart is stronger when it's full sunshine, loving like it does. Your heart is weak when there's like a pilot light on. Think of a pilot light versus a full beam of sunshine. How powerful is a full beam of sunshine? That means your heart is open and loving the world. That's where you need a mindset shift. Holding your heart down and shutting it down and protecting it and keeping it all encased and closed off is where you are at the weakest point. You are not able to connect into your intuition. You can't really get the guidance you're looking for, the wisdom you're looking for. That's where you choose men who are unavailable, where you choose things that are not what you want, versus opening your heart and expanding it. You're actually in a stronger position because you're much sharper. The heart has been proven to be a much better brain than the actual brain. There's so many studies on that. I think it's called Heart Math is a really great place to start if you want to learn about how strong and amazing and intuitive the heart is. It's much better than the brain. So you want to have your heart at full capacity and open so that you can choose what's best for you, where you can pick up on a person who's trustworthy, who's going to be authentic and a good person. Your heart can pick that up much better than your brain can. So you want to have a full open heart for you to make the best, most loving and safest choice, if you want to think of it that way, for yourself. Let's talk about healing tools to stop fighting yourself. Let's reverse this and start healing the pattern of self-sabotage. Every morning, do a heart expansion. And this is a simple and powerful exercise. It's just a matter of closing your eyes, putting your hand on your heart, breathing into your heart space and your chest, and imagining your heart expanding all around you and getting as big as the room, the city, the country, the world, universe, and beyond. And then in that expanded state, you can make some intentions for the day for yourself. Like, I intend to keep my heart open. I intend to follow my heart today. I intend to find love, whatever it is you want for your intention. It can be small or big, and start every day like that. You will be absolutely astonished at the changes you will see in your day and how you go about what you're doing and moving towards your heart's desires. It's just amazing. Second thing to do is some shadow work where you meet your wounded parts and you heal them by listening and witnessing. And it's just taking a few deep breaths and going into a meditative, relaxed state and asking your inner saboteur to come forward, asking what your saboteur has to say. What does it think it's doing for you? Is it doing its job for you that you actually don't want it to be doing that job anymore? And I've had a mentor who helped me do a lot around this, where you connect to the saboteur and say, you know what? You've done an amazing job for me. Thank you so much. I am so proud of you. You can even give it a badge or something and say, thank you for your work. And I actually am going to reassign you to another job. And the job is to find all of the ways that we can stay open, or all the ways that we can live through our heart, or whatever it is. You give it a job that is not protecting you, that's not shutting your heart down, that's not moving you away from finding love. That job is done. It's a job well done. And thank you very much for protecting me. But we're actually doing this. This is your new assignment. And that is also an incredibly powerful and valuable exercise that I have done, and it has made the world of difference for me as well. Those are some healing tools to stop the self-sabotaging pattern. You can also take my Detox Unavailable Guys challenge. That's a journaling experience to dismantle the unavailable guy dating cycle, and it gets into figuring out what you want, what you don't want, getting really clear on all of those things. And it's a simple and powerful way to start to unravel the self-sabotaging cycle, especially specifically around attracting unavailable men. Once you're dismantling that, of course, your heart's going to be open for the love of your life, Mr. Right, the man who feels like home, whatever it is, however you want to describe it. And it's totally free. So I encourage you to go to stopchasingunavailableguys.com and sign up for my Detox Unavailable Guys Challenge. I hope today's episode has been helpful, talking about a very important topic. We need to figure out what you can do to empower yourself in your dating and love journey to find love so that you can have these beautiful experiences and move away from the frustrating self-sabotaging spiral that you might have been in. Thank you for listening, and remember, love is closer than you think.